muscle and joint pain. Celebrate less risk. Added cardio protection. Talk to your doctor about added protection with the CEQA. I have moderate to severe plaque psoriasis, and there's sky risk. 3 out of 4 people achieve 90% clear skin at 4 months after just 2 doses.
Studies may increase risk of infections and lower variability. Before treatment, your doctor should check you for infections and tuberculosis. Tell your doctor if you have an infection or symptoms such as fever, sweats, chills, muscle aches or coughs, or if you plan to or recently received these.
Solar, get out of here, dude. Solar, beat it, brother.
This is the Jones family.
Good deal on all of
Are you sure? Spectrum Mobile can do better. How many lines do you have? 4. And how much data do you use?
These 2 shared streams.
And how much are you paying per month? Don't forget those added taxes and fees and surcharges.
Let me plug this thing in before it goes out.
Customize your plans.
There you go. Hello, how are y'all doing? Working on Goat Boy.
Offer $118 per month with no taxes and fees. Spectrum Mobile has
Goat Boy moves. His arm moves and his head moves, but his head isn't moving, so
no contracts.
I'm gonna have to cut in the back and see what's the matter with the motor, because clearly something's the matter with Goat Boy. So that's what I'm gonna do. I use a Dremel tool, I believe. But I just sort of, the hand was moving. Sort of fix this. I wanted to set up before I start cutting the back of it. Or not. Doesn't matter. It doesn't. It doesn't matter. I need glasses though. I have glasses around here somewhere. Fell off my head when I was working on Goat Boy. Yeah, a live stream. Working on Goat Boy because there's nothing else to do. Sorry, I don't play music, so I can't help you there. Kathy's in her room doing whatever, and I feel obligated to stream. I do, for my own self, my channel, and you all. So this is supposed to move, and I believe, I don't know, it's supposed to move. There's a motor. I can't, I made this years ago, and I've made so much work, so I don't really know how I made it until I start cutting into it. So that's what I'm gonna do. I know what I did to make this move. I can show you the arm. Well, no, this should be dry, but this goes like this, right? Where's Pinocchio? I don't know. Isn't it Geppetto? I don't know. Just make it. I was just working on this. So I figured I'd live stream. I got nothing better to do. That's right, I do. I gotta cut into the back of this. The question is how to do it. I think I'm gonna use a Dremel tool. Solar, beat it, brother. That's what I'm gonna do. Oh, hello. What I'm gonna do? This will be boring. This will be totally boring, so if you don't want to hang out, I don't blame you.
patriotic for a moment. I knew this is a patriot.
If you want to hang out, you can.
What we are trying to do in the United States of America is actually
The Dremel tool, right?
has not existed
I don't have
in quite this form.
proper shit, so I'm just jamming it into this extension cord.
Multiracial superpower.
So all about safety.
That is a country made of all the countries. And we're actually getting there.
Slice it a little bit. Great, right? Doesn't sound good. It needs to be replaced, but that's not really going to happen. It's not right now.
Just 5 days until Joe Biden becomes our 46th president. He's about to take the helm of a nation caught in the grip of an uncontrolled pandemic and in the throes of fighting a domestic terror threat. On this last weekend of the Trump era, Washington is now
So, I got bothering Katya.
25,000 National Guard troops stationed around the District of Columbia.
Working on something. Oh no, maybe I'm not. Physical. Alright, now I'm seeing some action here. Oh. Okay.
Paper says about 60 seconds after the vice president was rushed off the Senate floor.
Okay, now I got it.
Occupied by a rioter. He charged up the stairs, chasing after that Capitol Police officer, Eugene Goodman, who drew him away
Alright.
from where Pence was hiding. The drama, of course, was all captured on video.
So, assume you all want to see this. This is the important stuff, which would be this. So, right? So the thing was, this is to this, and this would normally have a thing that you would plug into this, but one of them was broken, so I cut it off, strip the wires, and just put them in there like that. That's why I make the big money. See, like that. Like that. It works. Pull it out. You don't want the wires to touch them. I need a light to see in there and see what's the matter with the motor. It's not the motor that I bet is screwed up. I bet it's the armature that's messed up, not the motor. That's my guess. So, I might have to take the whole thing out, put in a new motor and armature so that the head can go back and forth, or maybe the head rotates instead. I haven't decided. But I will put an electric motor in it. I won't do an air piston because you already have an electric arm. Well, I don't know. I don't know what I'm gonna do. I want it to run again, but I'm limited on funds, so I'm gonna fix it with whatever materials I have around here. I'm fine. I'm fixing Goat Boy.
this one could be, and, you know, all these stuff in our section.
Let's see what we got going on here. Go for it.
Thank you.
Oh, wow.
Thank you for being there.
What in the world?
Capitol Police Officer Brian Sicknick is one of the 5 people who died in last week's attack. The FBI is now investigating his death. Capitol Hill Police confirming they're looking into allegations some Republican members of Congress gave tours of the Capitol to people who may have later taken part in the riot.
I'm gonna rip Goat Boy's head off, actually.
Well, today the speaker named a retired U.S. Army General Russell Honorable, who led the response to Hurricane Katrina. He will now lead a security review of just what happened at the Capitol. We also learned today Vice President Pence has in fact called Kamala Harris. That courtesy, while 10 weeks late, has not been extended to Joe Biden by the outgoing president. Last week's riot is cited by outgoing Health Secretary.
And I have Goat Boy's head off. That's an improvement.
Said the attack threatened to tarnish the administration's accomplishments.
And
More on that in a moment. Trump does appear to still be in contact with
oh
the
yeah,
allies
this has to totally come out. This is like so rusted in here.
Today he spent some time on his last Friday in the White House with Mike Lindell, the guy on the My Pillow commercials. He was seen leaving the West Wing.
Now,
David Botsford, photographer,
my
Post caught a shot of Lindell's notes, which read in quote, martial law if necessary, at first hint of any ... Then at another point it says, move Kash Patel to CIA acting. Kash Patel is currently the Department of Defense Chief of Staff and a Trump loyalist. Tonight, Mike Lindell, the pillow pitchman and conspiracy theorist, tells the Daily Beast he was informing Trump about a new election fraud theory that China and other countries helped steal the 2020 election for Joe Biden. He says White House attorneys promised to look into it and get right back to it. Trump is expected to leave the White House for the final time as
nonsense.
Yet does he reportedly wants to leave in time to still be able to be flying on Air Force One to Florida. There are reports Trump wants a beer leader type send-off at Andrews Air Force Base, possibly with color guard, red carpet, 21-gun salute. He'll be leaving the White House with the lowest job approval of his presidency. Stands right now at 29%. It's a lot, and with that, let's bring in our leadoff guest on this Friday night at the end of another exhausting week. Peter Baker, Chief White House Correspondent for the New York Times, who is among the authors of the book Impeachment and American History, which, somewhat to the author's surprise, I'm sure, is again relevant for the second time in as many years. Susan Page, also a veteran journalist, also a best-selling author, USA Today Washington Bureau Chief, and Jeremy Bass, former Chief of Staff of the CIA and the Pentagon, and former Chief Counsel to the House Intel Committee. Well, as I said, it's a lot. Let's go through it methodically, and to do that, let's begin with you and your beat, Peter Baker. I note there is some resume polishing already underway.
This was
those who are
made years ago,
have the stain of
and
having for this president.
this paper towel. It's paper towel over like Bondo. So I gave it like a skin over the Bondo. I used paper towels, and then I used like skin colored paint. I made shit out of crap. Me? I'm alright.
Unfortunately, the actions and rhetoric following the election, especially during this past week, threaten to tarnish these and other historic legacies of this administration. I implore you to continue to condemn unequivocally any form of violence, to demand that no one attempt to disrupt the inaugural activities. Meanwhile, Peter, the president is meeting with the My Pillow guy in the Oval Office where FDR once sat. How does the chief White House correspondent for the New York Times sum this up?
Well, it's hard to sum up. You're right. It's fascinating. The letter from Secretary Azar purports to object to what happened, but then curiously uses the word the instead of your, right? There's nothing in the letter that says, you did something wrong, Mr. President. It says the actions and statements, rhetoric, where the actions and rhetoric following the election were a problem. They say your actions and rhetoric were a problem. So even as he's trying to suggest that he has some distance from these activities and actions over the last week and a half, he's not specifying who he seems to find fault with. Of course, the actions and the rhetoric of the last week and a half were, of course, the president's. But you're right. It's such an extraordinary, surreal time. We're in the middle of this incredible crisis, this pandemic crisis, as well as these lasting and enduring problems with the economy, and obviously the division in our society. The president has gone into hiding inside the West Wing, and the residents of the White House unseen, largely unheard from. As you say, meeting with the My Pillow guy, because there aren't a whole lot of other people left to meet with, who are willing to meet with him, who are still sticking with him, isolated and just counting the days and the hours until he leaves office. And it's a remarkable scene, and it reminds you, I think, probably of the last days of Nixon. It reminds you of
There's a motor in there, and the motor itself is probably not rusted, but the armature around it is really rusted because it was in the barn. So it's so rusted that it snaps. So even if the motor's running, the armature can't move. It's not going to work. So I need to take the motor out and the armature and just replace the whole armature and motor with something else, either an armature and motor or an air piston, but something. So I'm going to try and cut down the back of it with this. It's polyester resin and other materials. I would use a grinder, but it'll smoke up and it'll be gross in the house. So I'm going to try and cut it.
So dark in Washington at the moment. It's easy to figure what this weekend is usually like in Washington. The inauguration, especially when you have a transfer of power to another party, is usually a moment of just tremendous joy and energy in Washington. Big parties of the winning party celebrating and the losing party giving them their moment in the sun. Everybody just takes a breath for the new president to get a fresh start. That was true even to some degree in 2016. And now what do we see? Well, you go miles away from the Capitol. The businesses are boarded up in Washington. People are staying home. Nobody is going to parties. And when you go near the Capitol, it seems like you're just in a war zone. We're going to have this inauguration take place on the West Step, as is customary, to an audience of almost no one. That is really quite a change.
And Jeremy Bash, now to your bailiwick. We leave the world in one area, and sadly that's coronavirus. Our economy is cratering. The whole world is watching as our own citizens loot our U.S. Capitol. Sooner or later, this becomes a national security matter.
No doubt, Brian. And the inauguration is usually a message to the world about the peaceful transfer of power, about our democratic form of government. And tonight, Washington is a city really under siege. I mean, obviously, the entire federal enclave is behind gates, guns, and guards. But we're also on edge, Brian, because the president, meeting with, as you referenced, the My Pillow guy, is still entertaining discussions about declassifying sensitive intelligence that would expose sensitive sources and methods. He's talking about invoking the Insurrection Act, martial law, installing his cronies at the CIA and elsewhere. And so this is a city very much on edge, and though as we round the bend on this final weekend, I don't think anybody's in the mood to relax. And yet, on the other hand, if it's a tale of two cities, the other city is, of course, eagerly anticipating the arrival of the Biden presidency, a rational, competent, evidence-based approach to the national emergency that is coronavirus, and welcoming with open arms, I think, the idea that the government will be in the hands of the president and his party so that actually an agenda can move forward and the days of endless gridlock, endless dysfunction might in fact be behind us.
Peter Baker, indeed, the president will have a version of the military football with him on the flight to Florida on Air Force One. A duplicate will be alongside Joe Biden at the inauguration. 12 noon straight up, President Trump's nuclear launch codes become inert. That power gets shifted to Joe Biden. 12 noon straight up as well. He becomes former President Trump. He's been silent now on Twitter because he's suspended. This is a political question, though, Peter. The Republicans have the means to get divorced. The Republican members of the Senate have the ability to vote to convict. Do you think the conviction, you'll pardon the pun, is there?
It's a good question. Clearly at the moment you cannot count 17 Republican senators who are ready to vote to convict. That's how many you would need, assuming you got all 50 Democrats who will be in office at the time this trial takes place. But it's not out of the question. At this point, you've got 4 or 5 senators who have made clear that they're ready for the president to resign, to be removed by the 25th Amendment, or ready to impeach. And I think that you can guess a few others to get up to 7, 8, 9. How to get to 17, I'm not sure. A lot of it depends on Mitch McConnell. He has told people that he's ready to purge the party of Donald Trump. He is ready to move the party beyond Donald Trump. Mitch McConnell will become the leading Republican officeholder in the land as of January 20th at 12:01 p.m. So the question is whether he's ready to do that. And if he does that, obviously he can bring a lot of votes with him. He can lead the way. But they didn't get the Republican votes they thought they might get out of the House. They only got 10 Republican votes, more than of any other impeachment trial or president from his own party, but still short of the sort of momentum-building number that they had thought they might get. And so I think it's very much up in the air right now. Republicans in the Senate do not like President Trump. They're angry with him. If you talk to them off the record, they're through with him. They'd love to wipe their hands of him. But whether they would actually vote to convict in a post-presidential trial, that's still a question in the air.
And of course, Susan, there's the cowardice. What Peter just said about they will tell you off the record. It's the cowardice in actually seeing their names in print and on television next to a quote like that. Susan, what does it say about our times that there are members of Congress who fear one another in addition to the domestic terrorists?
Who worry that other members of Congress might come to the floor with a gun and threaten them. And quite extraordinary today, Nancy Pelosi in her weekly news conference with reporters saying there could be criminal prosecution of members of Congress for aiding and abetting the storming of the Capitol. This is just, if you had said that 2 weeks ago, would you have believed that that was a possibility? It's really quite remarkable. It's the kind of breakdown. I mean, we've had polarized Congress for years, but this is a breakdown of an entirely new sort, and rebuilding trust, even within the institution. Forget about rebuilding it with Americans, that needs to be done as well. But even within the institution, this is going to be the task that is going to take some time. This is not going to be over in a week or with the inauguration or in a year. This is really going to be a long-term effort on the part of our government to rebuild all kinds of things that have been broken.
Jeremy Bash, finally, let's just go through the laundry list, the shocking laundry list you led us through in your last answer. And again, for members of our audience, the president today met in the Oval Office with the My Pillow guy from the TV commercials. This may set us up for a meeting with an Uber driver on Monday morning schedule. The My Pillow guy had in his notes mentions of the Insurrection Act, martial law, and inserting a Trump stooge at the CIA. Jeremy, to all the other things that could happen in 6 days, what about the chain of command? What about an adult to say, you know what, I saw this order get kicked up the chain, I'm not going to enforce this?
Yeah, I think the most the president can realistically do is declassify a whole bunch of sensitive intelligence to try to maybe make the case that he wants to make about the Russia investigation and its origins. I actually think at this point it's highly unlikely, in fact, I would say impossible, for him to compel the uniformed military to do something, even though he remains commander-in-chief. That memo last week from the Joint Chiefs of Staff to the entire force basically was Heisman to the president saying, we're not going to do anything, not one thing, to effectuate your incitement to violence to try to overturn this election. So I think the military's done the right thing. I know our intelligence professionals are trying to do the right thing. But it remains a dangerous time because he is commander-in-chief, as you referenced. He does have power over our nuclear forces, our command and control. And of course, our adversaries are watching. And this is a moment when they might try something nefarious because they perceive weakness here in our capital city. And so everybody should be and will be on heightened alert all the way through the inauguration and the opening days of the next administration.
And by all accounts, the West Wing tonight has been hollowed out. That is more hollowed out than usual during an uncontrolled pandemic. To Peter Baker, to Susan Page, to Jeremy Bash, our sincere thanks for starting us off tonight. Enjoy your weekend if such a thing is possible in Washington. Coming up, Operation Warp Speed is out. It turned out the level of vaccine on hand was a lie. Now comes the effort by the next president to get shots in American arms and fast. And later, Baghdad on the Potomac. They now call the area of lockdown, troops, razor wire, the green zone, right there in Washington, D.C. It's just one target, however, that the feds are worried about. In a moment, we'll ask Michael Moore about what authorities are worried about in his home state of Michigan this weekend. All of it as the 11th hour is just getting underway on this, the final Friday night of the Trump administration.
It's no big deal because I made it, so I can fuck it up because I can remake it. Pull my pants up. You pull my pants up. I get the feeling my.
Drive this. Save the Allstate. The future of auto insurance is here. You've never been in better hands. Allstate. Click or call for a quote today.
I get my protein from plants, like wonderful pistachios. Crazy, huh? Not as crazy as the leotards they wore in the 80s. Which one? Aquamarine brings out your cheekbones. Should have gone pistachio green. Get plant protein from wonderful pistachios.
Jenny Craig Awards, introducing Rapid Results Max. I lost 45 pounds. Did it get okay? My best decision ever. Limited time offer of flexible delivery options with Jenny Craig. Safe.
2020.
Please. Call me 2020.
I just don't want this year to end.
Robinhood believes now is the time to do money. Without the commission fees and account minimums, so you can start investing wherever you are, even on the bus. Download now and get your first stock on us. Robinhood.
I used to wonder if God really cared about me. Then I started praying and going to church. I realized that God in my life was the difference between occasionally being happy and finding lasting joy. If you're looking for something more, check out CatholicsComeHome.com.
Ever feel like life's just too much? Maybe it's time for a change. God offers us relief and hope. So if you're feeling like you need more peace today, begin at CatholicsComeHome.com.
Now more than ever, it's important to have a truck you can trust, which is why more people are choosing Toyota, the best overall truck brand
So-
by KBB.com. In fact,
So you can see like the armature.
all vehicles and retaining resale value.
It's totally rusted.
And Tacoma.
Yeah.
Lease a
It
Tacoma
snapped.
for just $199 a month. Buy a
It snapped here. Now I twisted it off, but it snapped already. So
4,000 cash back.
this thing wasn't attached
And value. Trust.
to this.
Hello?
See what I'm saying? So it was just sort of like moving around, but it wasn't moving by the motor. So I'm going to put another motor in there with a better armature, and I'll save this motor. The motor's probably fine. The motor probably works, and then I can put a new armature on the motor. I just don't have time to do it, and I probably have a motor and armature ready to go.
We'll always be honest and transparent about
That's
where we stand.
you can sort of tell
The good news as well as the bad.
if it's going to work
We're gonna make sure
by
state
if you
and
get
local
movement
officials know how
there.
much supply they'll be getting
So the
and
chances
when they
are
can
that
expect to get it so they can plan.
this motor does still work.
It is such a striking change in
I'm gonna
tone
cut the
and
wires,
manner.
but if I
That
plug
may
in,
be
it'll
a
probably
lot
work. I'm
easier
just
said
gonna
than done, however. The
take the
Washington
time.
Post
That's
reports
very kind of
the
you. Thank you,
federal
by the way.
vaccine reserves, the Trump administration
I don't
promised
believe
to
you, but
release this week that Secretary
Minnesota
Azar was
Bigfoot.
talking
I don't know
about.
anything
They
about
don't
him.
exist. The Post reports
Minnesota
it this way.
Bigfoot
Health
research
officials
team.
across the country who
Is
had
Bobo in
anticipated
it?
their extremely limited vaccine
Bobo's full of
supply
shit.
as much as doubling beginning next week are confronting the reality their allocations will
I
not
don't know anything
immediately
about 'em.
increase, dashing hopes of dramatically expanding
probably
eligibility for
BSing
millions
everybody.
of elderly people and those with high-risk medical conditions. We're so
That's
happy
my
to have with
guess.
us to talk about it Dr. Kavita Patel,
Are they
clinical
hunting
physician,
Bigfoot
former
with,
senior aide during the Obama administration, now a non-resident fellow at the Brookings Institution.
Smegish?
She is among our medical
Smegish? What's
so, Dr.
that?
Patel, let me put a finer point on this. There's no time to be polite. Azar lied about the reserves.
Thank you, Jameson
Governors
Shipley.
in 50 states are now on the hook to
appreciate
inoculate their
that.
worst off. Some
I don't know
of
what
them
they
not knowing
said,
where
so
the second
I assume it was something
inoculation
rude.
is going to come from.
Right?
As an aside,
I gotta get
please
Goat
let
Boy's
us
head
know
on.
if and where
I'm gonna
Azar
do it right
finds
now.
employment after the 20th,
Just go yell in the
and
woods
whether or
with
not
night
they have
vision.
a board of
Oh, they
directors.
just go in the woods and yell with night vision cameras? Are you a simp? Congratulations. Yeah, or they have their buddy over there like hitting rocks or something together. Oh, there's Bigfoot. Did you see it? Did you hear it? That bullshit?
To continue to sow confusion
They're full
among
of shit.
state officials
Yep.
and the American public. What I would recommend, and I am confident the Biden
They're about
administration
views, I'm
is doing,
sure.
is having
And
close
could I
contact
turn down the
with
TV and maybe I
local,
could?
county,
It's
and
kind of hard to
state
hear.
officials,
No, I
and
can't
making
turn
it
down the
very
TV
clear
because I'm
that
listening
starting
to it.
Wednesday, January 20th, they are going to have much more transparency into what's
You know.
coming off the manufacturing belt, so to
They
speak,
used a
of the
horn
two
once.
leading manufacturers
Really?
with authorized vaccines in the country, as well as what they can expect in
You
the
know,
upcoming
I mean,
weeks.
what, you don't
And then
like what's
just
on
to
the
put a finer
TV?
point on it, Brian,
Why
we'll
not?
start to see that in the form of better dashboards and data at a national level.
It's all the truth. It's
CDC
facts.
just updated their site so that we can
Parasites have
understand
accomplished
how
exactly
many
what they wanted.
individuals have been vaccinated,
We have
not
never
just doses
been
that have gone
so
out.
divided.
Because as you know, we need 2 doses to
Can
go
you
out to be fully
beatbox for me?
vaccinated.
I don't
So
know any
that's
Bobby
what I can
McFerrin
expect to see.
songs, so
But
no, I
think it's gonna
cannot
be some hard days.
do
I think the
beatbox.
president-elect made it clear it's going to get
Dogman is what I'm
worse
looking for.
before it
The
gets better.
Vampires
And that's what
versus
state
Dogman is
officials
what
are
I'm looking
dealing
forward
with,
to. I saw your other
including states that are
comments.
doing this well.
Is that really
West
what you're looking
Virginia,
forward
they
to?
vaccinated 6% of their state.
How about
But
scat?
they're just told they're not
Do I look like
getting the
Scatman
increased
Crothers?
doses that they
No,
thought they
I can't
were
scat.
because the Trump administration and
I
the
can't do
secretary
that.
lied to them.
Can you turn it down? I can't hear.
Yeah, everyone has a story. I have a 90-year-old mother-in-law whose appointment for her first shot is still a month away. What
Bye.
would you do first? How can we get tents set up? How can we get civic centers?
What's up?
Stadiums, arenas,
Yeah, I'll sell it. Do you want to buy it?
Walgreens. How can that happen? What's the
You can buy it
fastest
if you
way
want.
to get those 100 million shots?
Don't ask how
in
much
August?
it is, because
Yeah, so the fastest way is to actually
no, you
make
can't
it
afford
incredibly
it. Peter,
flexible
did
to
you
get these shots.
like
I think
Kiss
you've
back in
heard
the
now,
70s?
not only your mother-in-law, but most
Not
people are very
really.
confused. What tier
You
are they in?
know,
Which priority
not
group?
really.
When is it their turn? We need to make it
I wasn't in the
incredibly
Kiss
easy to
Army.
access
No.
both the vaccines and the information. From a federal response
You know,
standpoint,
it's not-
Brian, we have had during H1N1, after Katrina, West
No,
Nile
I
virus,
don't really
you
like
name
Kiss.
it, we have had ready and able a public health service for of volunteers,
The Kiss
as well as
Armada.
employed and kind of civil servants, along with uniformed officials. That
I gotta get a motor.
Medical Reserve Corps,
Do I like
which
the
is
Stones?
consistent
Who
volunteers
doesn't?
that
Come
have
on,
undergone
man.
training. We
Really?
have in our
kind of repository,
What-
tens of thousands of potential
What makes it a goat
healthcare
boy?
workers.
Oh, what makes it a
And
goat
that
boy?
can be turned on quickly. Every state has some sort of reserve as well. And then remember, we've got the National Guard, and I know that might seem
Right.
extreme, but that's exactly what West Virginia
He's got
did.
goat feet.
Because they needed to bring in extra bodies and train people to give vaccines. This can be done. I'm confident that we can actually get to 100 million vaccinations. But now we're going to have to deal with the fact that, you know, the Biden folks are coming in, and when the Trump administration, one, lied to them, two, had not brought them in after the election, and has left them with a giant mess, and frankly, morale that's in the dumps at any of these agencies that have to execute these plans.
We got 25,000 guardsmen and women in the Capitol to protect it. I bet we'd all be amazed at what 25,000 guardsmen and women could do in getting shots into arms in 50 states. You're absolutely right, Dr. Kavita Patel.
So
Thank
I
you so
have
much
this
for coming
one,
on and taking
right,
our questions
that I
tonight,
pulled out of
as
something.
always.
I don't know
Coming
what I
up,
pulled
we'll
it
talk
out of.
militias
I
in
don't know
Michigan
if it
with
works.
Michael Moore,
The
along with
armature
danger to come on
is
the
totally
Tuesday
sturdy.
stage.
There's not a lot of movement. So I might be able to just shove this down in there and put foam around this. And that might be enough to just keep it in place, and I won't have to, like the armatures when they were made sure that they have like screws, right? So that hang on.
This is what we call going all in on the sports event.
Lease the 2021 IS 300 for $359 a month.
Probably.
Experience
So I had screws put in here so that I can put them into stuff. I still might do that. I don't know. I don't know. I make it up as I go along. It's rare that I do sketches of anything. Yeah, work on the goat eyes. I got to clean them up. Make a hell of a lawn ornament. Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, hyper realistic. Yeah, that's what I'm known for. My hyper realistic art. I can't make anything realistic. Are you kidding me?
No.
It's like when. Listen, I'm not gonna even say it.
No.
What's my favorite cologne?
Discover has no annual fee on any card.
You're joking, right? Did I just read that right?
From Innovative to show up
Old Spice.
for the speed,
Really?
the hectic,
You think Chanel number 5? Yeah.
the tense.
My mom liked Joy.
Migraine keeps them
I think she liked it because it was expensive.
I am here.
I believe.
With Innovative,
Um,
treatment for migraine
I think
once
that's the one that she likes.
a month is proven to
That's
reduce
perfume.
monthly migraine
I don't really
days
think of
for
that
some
as
by half or more.
cologne.
Don't take Innovative if you're allergic to
Old
it.
Spice,
Reactions
Lilac
and rashes
Vegetal.
can happen hours to days after use. Severe constipation can happen.
I
Sometimes
didn't.
serious
When I was a
complications.
kid, I used to wear stuff like polo and crap like that. Axe, come on, man. I'm 58. I don't think that even existed.
It doesn't matter what each day brings.
Okay,
So
so
long
now I
as
gotta
you
figure
say,
out.
I am here. Aim to be there more. Talk to your doctor about Aimovig.
What goes to what?
Pick up your phone. Go to
Okay.
OurTime.com.
So I gotta
Just take a
put
look.
these back together.
Take a look on Our Time, the dating site for
See if they
people over
work.
50.
I used to wonder if God really cared about me. Then I started praying and going to church. I realized that God in my life was the difference between occasionally being happy and finding lasting joy. If you're looking for something more, check out
Wires got undone.
CatholicsComeHome.com.
Where are your dogs?
Ever feel like
Sleeping.
life's just too much? Maybe it's time for a change. God offers us relief and hope.
I
So if you're
need
feeling like
to
you need more
cover
peace
these
today,
wires, but
begin at CatholicsComeHome.com.
I'm not going to right now. Because
The
I
minute
doubt
you're
I'm gonna
diagnosed
get
with
shocked.
diabetes, you should have a Dexcom.
And I'm not standing in
Knowing
water,
where your
so if I
numbers
do
are
get
going
shocked,
before they get
I'm
there
probably not
is a
gonna die.
superpower. I've had
Screw
other
it.
systems, and I'm on this one because it's the best.
Might
and because it
bust a
works.
breaker or
It's easy
something,
to
but I
wear,
wanna
it's
I wanna
easy to
find
put
out if
on,
the
you
motor
can see it right on your
works.
phone. I can't imagine
No.
anything
But
simpler.
once again, I'm gonna
No
put it in here like
fair
this.
sex, I can't
I'm
say
not
that
telling you
enough.
all
I
to do
think that's
this.
an
I'm just,
incredible advancement.
This
You're
is the
professional.
technology you've been waiting for.
oh, I have movement. Yes, it works. We're good. We're good. So now I gotta find some caps to cap these wires so that they don't touch metal, because if they touch metal, they're gonna short out.
Democratic.
That wouldn't be good.
Democratic. I mean, the Democratic
That's
Party.
good. This
They're
motor
anti-government.
will work, and it'll work good.
The Attorney General of Michigan, Michigan State Capitol in Lansing is bracing for possible violence on Sunday.
Yeah, I like this. This Goat Boy's gonna run better than ever, because I think I showed Goat Boy once years ago, and when I was in the gallery, it would kind of like, you know, it'd go like that. This one will go like. Lots of live streams today. Yeah, well, I have nothing better to do. My channel is in the shitter. So what else am I gonna do? You know? Put out content. I don't take shit lying down. What am I gonna do? Oh, I give up, right? That's not me. That's not me. Here, what's your theory on the theory of relativity?
The guys you went to high school with.
Correct as we know it. You know, we were talking about that last night. What do you mean, what's my theory? It's sort of taken as fact. What year did he do that anyway? Wasn't that the first paper that he wrote that like became published? That's what I think. That's what I was saying last night, but I'm not sure. I'd have to check that. But I think that he wrote that when he was working in the patent office in Zurich, I think. 1919. Yeah, okay. That makes sense. I was going to say 1909, so that was going to be my guess. So you are right, 1919. That's like the first, you know, and after that, people, oh yeah, he's kind of has a new look on everything. He was stoned when he wrote that. I don't think so. I bet he was a teetotaler. You'd have to check, but I don't think that he was. I don't think he was smoking weed. I doubt that he was drinking heavily either. I never heard of him being an alcoholic or anything like that. I don't think that's true. He was a stoner, though. You think? If you're a stoner, you're totally stoner, you might not think about that kind of shit because you're too apathetic. I don't think Einstein was a stoner. Either do I. No, he wasn't. He never smoked rope, and it wasn't popular back then. And I don't think that he was doing opiates. I've never heard that about that man.
And then of course came the kidnapping and all this. But I'm very worried about.
He definitely wasn't. He wasn't.
Producer about this earlier.
You know, I thought I read something on him once that I found interesting, and that's that people believe that his IQ was probably about 155, which is extremely high, right? It's fucking high as shit, but it's not like one of these guys that's like 190 that doesn't do anything. Do you know what I'm saying? Like there's all these people with super high IQs that never do shit. Like the kid that with a 200 IQ or something that never does anything in life. That's what his. I read Einstein's, but it's a, you know, it's just a. It doesn't matter anyway. IQ is not a good judgment of shit. It isn't. The Raven's IQ, yeah, about 150. Sam the Raven, exactly. Yeah, Sam's. The Wrestler. Are you talking about the movie The Wrestler? Oh, okay. Yours is 135. Congratulations, but you shouldn't be telling people what your IQ is because I don't believe you. Do you belong to Mensa? Do you? Tell me if you belong to Mensa. Because 135, I think you can join, right? That's the cutoff. Yeah, all right, Mensa, meat boy. I agree. I don't think maybe I do know one person that belongs to Mensa. She's a comedian. Thank you, Cartwheel Video. I've done every drug and I turned out okay. Oh, really? Congratulations. I haven't done every, well, I haven't done anything, really. Just pretty wholesome and clean cut. What does Mensa even do? I don't know. They meet once a month. And there's clunking too. IQ is just an NR. You can have an IQ, but it means nothing. It's useless, right? That's weird. I dated a woman, dated a guy to. What? Is it weird for a woman to date a guy to be 5 years older than? You're 5 years older than the guy? Who cares? Come on, man. Really? I don't think it's weird. I know a woman that is dating a guy. She's a year younger than me, and she doesn't admit to it, but everybody knows that she's dating a dude that's in his 20s. She's living with him. The story was that he had a real crush on her, and his sister told the person that I know, like, and then all of a sudden she's living with this young kid. They're dating. So I don't really see that as who cares? Male, female, what's it matter? Age is, as long as two adults, who gives a shit? Yeah, Michael Moore's talking. Hang on.
Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez 2 hours ago on this network. If you are of color, and somebody says to you, oh, don't worry, the police are coming, the National Guard's coming. We know from our own reports from the Pentagon that they've issued in recent years about the National Guard, about our military, sadly, and about our police. These police departments are full of white supremacist sympathizers, racists. This is true in our police. It's sadly true in our military. It's true in the National Guard. To think that, there's 20,000 National Guards surrounding the whole area here. I'm supposed to feel good about that when we now know and we have video of police helping. There's that one shot you guys showed today. One cop is opening the gate and saying, come on in, everybody. This brings.
Yeah, I don't know much, but I don't think they're supposed to do that. Hey, Michael, hang on a second. Let me sneak in a break. There's another topic I want to get you on the record on when we come right back.
School. Jenny Craig works. Introducing Rapid Results Max, our most effective weight loss program ever. I lost 45 pounds on Jenny Craig. Limited time offer and flexible delivery options with Jenny Craig. A retirement plan for you? Us moving forward.
Hey, Kevin. Hey, guys. They have customized solutions to help our families.
So I'm gonna cap the wires with this, which they're not really the appropriate size, but it'll cover the wires so that if they touch metal, it won't short out. Which is smarter? Come on, what's it matter? They're birds. They're all smart. It doesn't matter. Difference. God, they're just totally dating a 34-year-old woman dating a 29-year-old guy. Who cares? Really? Are you worried about that? Does that bother you that your boyfriend's 29? Are you serious?
Online dating?
You can't be serious. He's 29 years old. You're 34? This bothers you? Why does it bother you? Who cares? Are you really being serious? He's a 29-year-old man. Which means he's like, probably more like a fucking 18-year-old, but why would that bother you? Why should that bother you? Seriously. You can't be serious. You gotta be fucking with me, right, dude? I'm 25 and my boyfriend's 44.
But not for your clients. That's why we're a fiduciary.
Is that weird? No, I don't think that's weird. Why would that be weird? Oh, yeah, I see why you're asking these questions. It didn't bother me, but people are saying the guy should be older than a woman. It's fucking stupid shit. Oh, it's stressful hearing that? Don't worry about it. Tamed Lauren. Who tamed you, the 29-year-old guy? How's my goat friend doing? Clunkin, the real goat, is doing fine. Goat Boy is getting a makeover, though, because he was out in the barn for too long, and his head wasn't running, and he was sort of fucked up. So, It's not the 1800s. That's right. Yeah. What? Really? Why do you? He's 29 years old. You're 34. You're talking about 5 years difference. Who cares? It's fucking 40 years difference.
Call or go online to WWFhelps.org.
What do you care? It's two adults, right? You're adult. He's adult.
Will help WWF
Will
protect
Goat Boy be
federal
animatronically?
habitats. For just $12 a month,
Anatomically
we'll
and
send you this
oh,
polar bear adoption kit
oh,
as our way of saying thanks.
like that,
If you call
like a
in the
big
next
old.
5 minutes, we'll include a free WWF
Think about it.
calendar. Please don't give up on threatened species.
I'll
Call
think about it.
or go online today.
Can you see if Family Guy is on? No, not really. My ex is older than me, and I'm a dude. Nothing wrong with it.
This
Save the
week,
polar
former
bears.
Michigan Governor Rick Snyder and 8
I'm working
others
on some
were
stupid
finally
thing.
charged in connection with the Flint, Michigan water crisis. Snyder pleaded not guilty to 2 counts of willful neglect of duty. Back in 2014, a change in Flint's water supply exposed the people there in a majority black city to dangerous, toxic levels of lead. Michael Moore was on the story then. He's still talking about it now. He has not reacted to this publicly. Michael reminds me of the phrase Daniel Patrick Moynihan left us with. He was bemoaning it, but he left us with the phrase benign neglect. This seems more like a human rights and health outrage. Does this come as any solace to you?
Solace.
Not at all. I'm shocked that he was charged with only 2 misdemeanors. He oversaw taking the city of Flint off the pure water that came from Lake Huron, and they wanted to save money, and they wanted to make money by privatizing the water system and building a new pipe to Lake Huron and charging more for it. That's what this is really all about. And instead they said let them drink from the Flint River. We can save more money that way. And what happened was in doing that, this was 7 years ago. Everybody in Flint who drank the water was poisoned on some level with some sort of toxic material in them, but it was the children. Children who ingest lead, it never leaves
I'm
them.
gonna
The effect on
plug
them
Goat Boy
is
in to
permanent.
make sure that
There are
there's
over 10,000 children in Flint with permanent lifetime brain damage. There's no way to fix it. There's no way to change it. These children are ruined.
I'm gonna plug this in and make sure that there's no shorts, so it might blow a breaker.
They covered it up. This is a much bigger crime. The one way it intersects with what's going on right now is that this governor must not be let off the hook. He has to be prosecuted for the actual crimes that he did. And the President of the United States, if they do not try him and convict him, the message to all other politicians is have at it. And especially if it's a city that's poor and black, have at it even more. Because nothing's going to happen to you. That is what they have learned. If that's the lesson for future presidents when this happens with Trump, we're all doomed with this. But the people of Flint still will not drink the water. And the governor got away with this, but the misdemeanor's not enough. It needs more. And I just will repeat again, because I know we're out of time. The last Wednesday, January 6th, was a dry run. Now, the insurgents told all their members, leave your guns at home. Don't bring your guns. They wanted to see how far they could get. What they're going to do in the next 5 days, I fear, is going to be more violent. And that's my warning, and I hope somebody...
We'll be watching with you. We'll have you back on. Thanks for coming on, as usual. Again, Happy New Year, Michael Moore, our guest tonight. Coming up for us, the people working under the strain of chasing down the latest strain of coronavirus from the UK all the way here to the US. And we have a look at what we might be in for.
With new awards from Chase Freedom Unlimited, I now
Dadgummit.
earn more cash back. Oh, I gotta tell everyone. Hey, Rita, you now earn 3% on dining, including takeout.
Bon appetit.
Hey, Kim, you now earn 5% on travel purchase through Chase. Yeah, you. Hey, Neil, you can earn 3% at drugstore.
Buddy, I'm right here. Why are you yelling?
Because that's what I do. You're always earning with 5% cash back on travel purchase through Chase. 3% at drugstores, 2% on dining, including takeout, and 1.5%
wire.
everything else you buy. Chase, make more of what you want.
This.
Nicorette knows quitting smoking is hard.
Oh,
Get advice like, try
all
Lucid.
right. No.
Or call it cold turkey. Instead, start small with Nicorette, which can lead to something big. Start stopping with Nicorette.
Online dating? I've already met a nice woman that way, but I'm not really sure where to look.
Pick up your phone, go to OurTime.com, just take a look. It's easy to take a look on Our Time, the dating site for people over 50.
I feel sorry for anybody that works on my work after I'm gone. Good luck.
Without the commission fees, so you can start investing today, wherever you are, even hanging with your dog. So, what are you waiting for? Download it now and get your first stock on us, Robinhood. Looking to refinance your mortgage? The first thing you want to do, find out how much your home is worth.
Just go to ownerly.com, enter the address, and see the home value instantly. Come to ownerly.com and see what your home is worth for free.
At some point in their life, 52% of all men will experience erectile dysfunction, but most of them never get treated. Now there's Roman, the digital health clinic for men. With Roman, you can get genuine medication prescribed by a U.S. licensed physician, all from the comfort of your home. If medication is right for you, Roman delivers it with free 2-day shipping and discreet packaging. Get started with free online visit today at GetRoman.com/TV.
One of the great benefits of having Spectrum TV is the free Spectrum TV app. And with more people at home watching TV, being able to watch on multiple devices without fighting over the remote keeps everyone happy. Use the Spectrum TV app on your smartphone, tablet, computer, and just about any internet-connected device. Watch live TV and on demand anywhere at home and on the go. TV on your terms, the way it's meant to be. Download the free Spectrum TV app today.
Goalie.
Okay,
World's first
hang on.
apple cider vinegar gummies make being healthy simple.
Goalie makes weight loss simple.
All day energy simple.
Jim, want some cake?
No, thank you.
Yeah.
Cravings?
Okay.
Simple.
And it's simply delicious. Healthy doesn't have to taste bad. In fact, with Goalie, it's actually delicious.
Visit goalie.com/TV to get 10% off plus free shipping.
That's good.
Just when you think the news on the pandemic front couldn't get any darker, the CDC is warning the highly contagious new mutant strain could become the dominant strain here in the U.S. by
Awesome.
March. It's believed to have originated in the UK. It's already been tracked to at least 14 of our 50 states. Tonight, our chief foreign correspondent Richard Engel brings us a rare look inside the lab that is trying to track it across the globe.
COVID is ravaging Brazil. Hospitals running out of oxygen. Deaths rising because of new COVID mutations. Today, the UK, already struggling with its own highly contagious variant, banned nearly all travel from South America. I went to the UK's main sequencing lab near Cambridge, leading the world in hunting for variants. Robots here select COVID-positive tests gathered nationwide. The virus is fed into machines that reveal its genetic code, and if the code has changed with a mutation. Dr. Naomi Park manages operations. How often when you run these sequences do you find anomalies?
It's just a normal part of evolution. But I guess variants that come out which become more alarming are really quite rare.
Are Americans looking for variants and mutations closely enough?
I'd say no. It's not nearly sufficient to be able to be doing a real-time surveillance and monitoring of these variants as they arise.
So Americans might not know the real kind of variants that they're facing.
No, it might be they only realise once they see the effects of it, and that is certainly too late.
The variants identified so far do not appear to be more deadly, but since they are more transmissible, overwhelming hospitals and causing more deaths. Richard Engel, NBC News, Cambridge.
Unbelievable. Coming up for us, learning a simple lesson of this new era of modern technology. This one is about optics. We can see you. Someone learned that lesson all over again just today.
I come at this from a very unique perspective, having worked for 2 different presidents.
As Joe Biden's inauguration approaches, get an all-access pass to the highest office in the land. A special presentation of The Way I See It, tomorrow at 10 on MSNBC. With the pandemic surging, impeachment underway, pardons looming, and tens of thousands of National Guard troops standing by, Lawrence O'Donnell hosts a live preview of this historic moment. Transfer of power, Sunday at 10 on MSNBC.
With moderate to severe Crohn's disease, I was there. Just not always where I needed to be.
She alright?
I hope so. So I talked to my doctor about Humira. I learned Humira is for people who still have symptoms of Crohn's disease after trying other medications. The majority of people on Humira saw significant symptom relief in as little as 4 weeks, and many achieve remission that can last.
Humira can lower your ability to fight infections. Serious and sometimes fatal infections, including tuberculosis and cancers, including lymphoma, have happened, as have blood, liver, and nervous system problems, serious allergic reactions, and new or worsening heart failure. Tell your doctor if you've been to areas where certain fungal infections are common, and if you've had TB, hepatitis B, or prone to infections, or have flu-like symptoms or sores. Don't start Humira if you have an infection.
Be there for you and them. Ask your gastroenterologist about Humira. With Humira, remission is possible.
Robinhood believes now is the time to do money. Without the commission fees and account minimums, so you can start investing wherever you are, even on the bus. Download now and get your first stock on ice. Robinhood. We make USAA insurance for veterans like Martin. When a hailstorm hit, he needed his insurance to get it done right away. USAA. What you're made of, we're made for. Whether you seek inspiration beyond the horizon or find it right before your eyes, your limits are only as far as your eyes can see. Verilux progressive lenses push those limits, providing seamless transitions from near to far vision with incredible sharpness. That's seeing no limits. Look now in your local Essilor expert to push the limits of your vision. Verilux lenses by Essilor. One of my favorite supplements is quinol turmeric. Turmeric helps with healthy joints and inflammation support. Unlike regular turmeric supplements, quinol's superior absorption helps me get the full benefits of turmeric. Quinol is the turmeric brand I trust.
Oh my God! The next real winner could be you. February 28th, Publishers Clearinghouse could surprise you with $5,000 a week for your life. Then after that, someone you choose gets $5,000 a week for their life. Enter now at bch.com.
No, stop it.
Say,
That's our king. Don't do that.
Last thing before we go here tonight, it is on the bookshelf of any self-respecting history buff, the monumental book called The Wise Men, written by Walter Isaacson and Evan Thomas and published a quarter century ago now. Its subtitle is 6 Friends and the World They Made. The book profiles Atchison, Boland, Harriman, Kennan, Lovett, McCloy. They were all bankers and lawyers and diplomats who counseled presidents from FDR to LBJ and helped to guide America's place in the post-war world. If the 2 authors were to update this seminal work today, they would of course be duty-bound to include Lindell. That would be Mike Lindell, the conspiracy theorist who makes pillows filled with chopped up foam. His commercials air on Fox News every few minutes. That qualifies him for statesman status in the Trump White House. He met with the president in the Oval Office today, just as so many foam pillow manufacturers have done going back to the time of Lincoln. Lindell inadvertently shared his homework with us. As you saw earlier in the broadcast, his thoughts on martial law, on who should run the CIA for the next 6 days, were clearly visible in still photos. 4 years of this, and the Trump crowd has never learned the lesson of modern digital photography.
There
We
it
can
is.
see you. We could read, for example, when the president insisted to himself that he did nothing, there was no quid pro quo with Ukraine, when of course there was. How about that day he almost slipped and called his preferred Chinese virus by its actual name, the coronavirus? I wonder if the Parkland families who lost a child felt his sincerity when he told them, "I hear you," as he was told to do on the card. Some other greatest hits. John Bolton's 5,000 troops to Colombia, something Colombia must have been psyched to read about. And Kayleigh McEnany's famously comical crosstabs on her binder, a veritable refrigerator magnet collection that included absurd, golf, Goya, and wins, back before we all got so tired of all the winning. Here's another picture, a bare wall just above the stairway in the West Wing that was once a living shrine to Donald Trump. Only the hooks remain, the pictures are gone, most, we presume, quietly looted by the likes of Peter Navarro, the White House trade advisor, who apparently forgot, we can see you. And a quick note here before we go. It's for those on the go who want to listen to this network anytime and anywhere you are. It's an app called TuneIn. It's available commercial-free as TuneIn Premium, and that way you'll never miss a moment, never miss a word. That's our broadcast for this Friday night and for this week. Thank you for being here with us. As we like to say, have a good weekend unless you have other plans. On behalf of all the good men and women at the networks of NBC News, good night.
It is Friday, President Trump's last Friday night in office. Some people drink on Friday nights after a long work week. Some people get high or have a movie night, or I don't know, whatever. Our president, he likes to spend a Friday night issuing scandalous pardons and commutations to well-known criminals who helped him cover up his own potential crimes, or to whom he owes other potential criminal favors. So
I'm not working on it anymore
on pardon watch
tonight because I did the tough stuff.
Congresswoman
I'm tired.
Ocasio-Cortez is going to join
Now
us
it's just
live
like sort of some finish work, and I'll work on that tomorrow. But it's functioning. I'm going to bring its head down a little bit lower.
Vaccination efforts against COVID-19. Scientists and researchers, of course, did their part. Heaven and earth.
Yeah, it's coming
really
along.
did the impossible by developing safe and effective coronavirus vaccines as quickly as they did. But then the government blew it.
I gotta look at it one more
time. Did not come up with any sort of national plan at all to get the vaccines these scientists had made actually distributed at scale and administered to people with any sort of efficiency. And so even though those vaccines were developed and approved and produced with such alacrity, all that got us is the situation we're in tonight, where millions of doses of the vaccine are just sitting in freezers. Well, every single passing day, another 200,000 plus Americans get infected. Just today, state governments all over the country are reeling once again after Trump Health Secretary Alex Azar told states they were going to get a whole bunch of vaccine doses next week that they aren't actually going to get. This is at least the second time that the Trump administration has told the states that there were doses shipping out to them, doses that didn't actually exist, which is just frying these already fragile, cobbled together systems in all the states, as the states have had to try to figure out vaccine distribution programs on their own with no national plan to help them do it. So we're going to have much more on that tonight, and more importantly, we're going to have the first national interview with the man who soon-to-be President Joe Biden just named as the person who will be tasked with fixing this mess and setting up a national vaccination plan for the first time. Under President Biden, Dr. David Kessler will be overseeing a whole new multi-billion-dollar effort that, among other things, will put the National Guard and FEMA in the field at new mass vaccination sites in every state in the country. The proverbial cavalry is coming on vaccines. Dr. David Kessler will be leading it. He is our guest here tonight in just a moment. In Washington tonight, as we prepare
One
for
more
the
time.
Biden-Harris
One more
inauguration on Wednesday, the Secret Service is now in charge of security preparations. They have now literally announced that they're forming a green zone in Washington to include a huge area of downtown D.C. around the Capitol. Yes, a green zone, like the one we've all reported from in Baghdad during the Iraq War. Within the green zone, there will be a restricted red zone where nobody's allowed to be. The National Mall will be closed. More than a dozen metro stations, which is the DC subway system.
Now his head
More than a
works.
dozen metro stations will be closed. Trains will be stopped. Private bus companies that run bus routes into DC from other cities, they're stopping those bus runs.
Why are you
into
asking
DC.
me my
Airbnb
favorite
and
perfume?
last-minute hotel room
I
booking
don't have
sites
one.
are not only not
I don't really
taking
like
new
perfume.
bookings for people
I'm a
traveling
dog
into
trainer.
DC anymore,
Perfume
they are
fucks up
canceling
dogs.
bookings that already exist.
Makes them blind.
There was due to be a rehearsal for the Biden-Harris inauguration this weekend. That will now be postponed for security reasons.
Is this your
They'll try to do it
hobby?
next week.
Wow, that's
But
rude.
each passing day now brings more
Um,
arrests of the radicalized Trump
Thank you.
supporters who violently attacked
What's your
the
favorite
Capitol to try
dog?
to stop the counting of the vote in the
Don't
election.
have one.
And each new public indictment
Any
reveals
breed?
more lurid descriptions of what
My
these
head
people
is-
did and what they intended to do.
What are
One
your
man
goals and
charged
what
tonight,
are
a
my
43-year-old
goals
man
in
from
life?
Rochester, New York, told people that had they got their hands on Nancy Pelosi inside the Capitol, they would have killed her. And also Vice President Mike Pence told people had they been able to find him inside the Capitol complex, they would have killed him too. There has been back and forth, sort of unbecoming of the Justice Department today, about what it means that federal prosecutors in Texas
I think,
and
Vanessa, I
Arizona
think you need to go to
told
sleep.
judges in individual defendants' cases that the aim of these attackers was to physically
How did you get-
restrain
I put a
and
new
potentially
motor in 'em.
assassinate lawmakers inside the chamber.
You didn't
The New
listen
Yorker
to him.
today reports
No one
that
was here.
members of the mob that
The
attacked the
method
Capitol were
created
armed
is really
with
unique. I
guns
like it.
and tasers.
That
and
Pop-Tarts turned out
baseball
good.
bats and truncheons. At least one person
How long have I been
carried a
making art?
noose
I don't
with
know,
them
since
into
I was
the
about
Capitol, which puts a fine point
4 or
on the
5.
fact that so much of the crowd was yelling, "Hang Mike
Will I
Pence."
fight Bigfoot? Probably not.
CNN interviewed one of the DC police officers who was dragged down the Capitol
Whatever happened
steps
to
and
your head?
beaten
I don't know.
and
She's in the
tased
woods.
by the Trump mob.
How do you feel about the unrest in the
I was
country?
just, trying to fight
Not good?
as best I could. I remember, guys were stripping me of my gear. These are rioters.
I got a mess here. I
pulling my
gotta
badge
clean
off my
up. My
chest.
hands are all rusty.
They ripped my radio
The
off
apple of the Big Apple.
off my vest. Started pulling
People make different
ammunition magazines
with you
from their
on that.
holder on my belt. And then some guys started getting a hold of my
How
gun.
about
and
2.5s?
they were screaming out,
Yeah,
kill with
I
the
agree.
gun.
I get some rest.
At that point, it's just like,
Have you ever been to London?
self-preservation.
No, I've not.
How do I
have not.
survive this situation? And I thought about, using deadly force.
You like the new live format? Well, I'm putting out video too.
Came to the conclusion that,
I'm doing what I can.
if I was to do that, I'm going to get a few, but I'm not going to take everybody, and they'll
doing
probably
what I
take my
can.
gun away from me, and that would definitely give them the justification that they were looking for.
I
to kill me,
appreciate that.
if they already didn't have
Vanessa.
made that up in their minds. So
Can
the
we
other
have you
option
instead
I
of...
thought of was trying to
He's
appeal
fine.
to somebody's
He's doing a good
humanity.
job.
And
You got your silver play button. I could have gotten it, but why am I going to get that?
Some people in the
I've been doing
crowd
this for
started
10
shooting
years and they want to give me a
something
silver
and trying to
play
offer me
button?
some
No, I
level
didn't
of
send away
protection.
for that. It's
And
ridiculous.
they gave, that provided me with enough time. Or other
Thanks,
officers,
Reggie.
specifically my partner.
Do you
Jimmy
think there's a
Albright,
country in...
enough time to get to me and get me the hell out of there and back into the
seriously.
restaurant of the Capitol? A lot of people
Silver
have asked
play
me
button.
my thoughts on the individuals
Are you a
in the
method
crowd
artist?
that,
You're talking about a method actor.
that help me or try to offer some assistance. And I think kind of the
You
conclusion I've
need
come
a
to
custom
is,
play button sent to you.
Thank you. But you for
Oh,
being there.
for doing it for 10 years and not really getting to her? You're a sleeper YouTuber, a straight up gem that I'm glad I found. Well, I appreciate that.
Repeatedly shot with a stun gun with a taser by the attackers. The Washington Post reporting late last night that officer suffered a
I'm gonna,
heart attack
I'm gonna
when he was
clean up.
tased. Also that he drifted
Who
in
knows when I'll live
unconsciousness while
stream
he was
again?
being beaten.
Who knows?
Ahead of the inauguration on Wednesday, the Justice
Seriously.
Department
Thanks for
today
watching me
released a
put
bulletin saying
Goat
commercial
Boy.
airlines have tracked an
Get
increase
Goat
in
Boy running
passengers
again. I
checking
appreciate
in
it.
guns on their way to airports.
Yeah,
in
well,
the
they're not going to
Washington
give me a
area.
stack of
DC,
anything.
Of course, itself has strict gun laws.
They aren't.
But Reagan National and Dulles Airport are both
I'll
in
see y'all
Virginia,
later.
where,
Bye-bye.
of course, the gun
My
laws
hands are
super
filthy.
lax, and the
I'll
airlines
see
say
y'all.
lots
Thank
of
you.
people are checking guns on their
Appreciate it.
flights into
Riggy,
those
thank you.
airports.
Milk Roots.
This is also
Dragon
probably the time
Tail.
to note that we have heard nothing from the FBI or the
See ya.
Justice Department
Bye,
about
Carlos.
any apprehension
See ya.
of whoever it was who placed the operational,
See
not
y'all.
fake pipe bombs
Bye-bye.
outside the
Bye,
headquarters
Vessel.
of
Bye,
both the
Tyler.
Republican and Democratic parties near the Capitol
Channel
on the
amazing.
day of the attack
That's very
at the
nice. I
Capitol.
appreciate
Whoever
that.
did that,
HP
whoever placed
Lovecraft.
those pipe bombs is apparently
Appreciate it.
still at large,
Thank
despite
you.
a huge
Good
effort
night.
by the
Good night,
FBI
Colleen.
to find that person and a big reward posted for
No
information
poison
leading
sumac.
to that person's
I'll see ya.
arrest and capture.
Bye-bye.